Just been looking at the Donchian channels for some FX pairs, and it seems there might be something in the Donchian channel breakout strategy which I've been looking at, and what we're looking for are overextensions beyond the band. So whenever we spike above, it tells us that we've overdone, we've overbought, we're oversold. However, you can see how we over exceeded the band. So when do you know when to sell? It's a sell when the upper band it bottoms out, it plateaus. So when it does stabilize, that tells us the top is in, and then we know that was the spike, and that's the SL. That's where you put your stop. So you'd wait for time to pass, wait for it to materialize a resistance, and then you'd short it. So currently, what we're seeing a short in play because of this, and we can see what happened here. We've got a double top, and what will happen is that it will remain true, this short, as long as the bottom support isn't plateau. It's not like straightening or bottom out. If it's pointing down, it's just telling us that we're going to continue to come down, and you'd hold on to that short bias. So what's interesting is that we'll see deviations away from the band, and that will be normal, because if it did track the band, it would just go like this, and price never does that. It zigzags. We have to remember it does this. It could be a reason for shaking out retail guys. It could just be the normal price behavior for this particular pair. It is quite erratic, so expect to see lots of zigzagging on this bottom support. You'd hold short until it bottoms out, like we see here. So you have to give it a bit of time, and once it does this, then that tells us that the bottom's in. It's taken some stops. We might see like a emotional move like this, and that tells us the stops were being hunted. So let's look at the SLCs. FX stop loss clusters, that's fine. Right, so that's where we'd target. That's where we might see like an emotional move, like we saw here, to grab those stops. 148.60, which is 50 pips away, which is doable, and that's the inevitable destination. So hopefully that makes sense. To be extra careful, you want to know where you are with the trend. So let's look at the moving average. It's always really important to look at your moving averages, so you're not selling into going against the grain. 610 is fine. It's an old strong MA, so we can see that we're actually in a downtrend here. Zoom out, and we had the double top, as you can see, but we didn't make a higher high. We didn't manage to break this high. So technically the structure is quite bearish there, because we didn't crack above that. That's going to be a decent resistance, and it was a resistance as well. See the MA is pointing down. Because the MA is pointing down, you're looking to short these rips. Okay, and so hopefully that helps. You can see how if we zoom in again, that that was a buy because we've overextended. Overextension, sell, overextension. One here, one here. It's a large one down here. That would probably been a lot of stops down there, I'd imagine. So that's how you use it. So if you don't have Donchian channels, you can use the Bollinger Bands. It's the same, and that's it really. So what you'll expect to see is some deviations away from the bottom support, because if it did track it completely, it would be slightly unusual, because price has to zigzag up and down, and so that's that. So I think the inevitable destination is here, 148.60. We look at the daily sentiment shifting. Aussie is behaving, and the USD is behaving. Euro is a bit mixed, so we have to be a bit careful, but it's looking good for our AU long idea, because that's behaving and that's behaving. So maybe have a look at your Donchian channels. You can get it from the IC Markets website. Just go to the trading tools downloads, or if you just use Bollinger Bands, it's like default thing that you get on MetaTrader 4. So yeah, hold on to a bearish bias until it bottoms out, and once it bottoms, then you exit your short basically, And likewise, if you're long, you'd wait for some resistance to form by seeing a horizontal line here, and that'll tell you that was a resistance, that's the support. So you have to give it a bit of time basically, and expect to see fluctuations as well, because that's just trading. So that was a naughty wick. You'll see lots of naughty wicks trying to shake you out, I think, and that's where we're going to head. But we'll have to wait and see. 14861.